Saudi tugambe sewo.
The President of NUP, Honorable Robert Chaguranyi Bobi Wine, and the whole team, the leader of opposition, all members of NUP, the other members of parliament from other parties, the colleague leaders, Honorable Dr. KIZZA BESIGYE, the Lord Mayor, the Deputy Lord Mayor, also happened to come with the team, Honorable KIZZA, Honorable Angie Nosege, Ismail Kasure, all people who've come here this day as we seek God's intervention in the affairs of our country. First, let me bring to you apologies from our national coordinator, Honorable Ali Salaso. Should have loved to be here, but unfortunately she's unable. So we do represent her and the other leaders from the Alliance for National Transformation. Allow me to make comments on three things. One, all autocratic regimes, all dictatorships, literally use the same textbook. They use money to weaken the people within the countries that they suppress. They use fear as a tool of control. Today, what we witness from those who've lost their lives, from those who've been abducted and they're missing, for those who are still in prison, it's not by accident. It's deliberate, it's conscious. It's part of the toolbox of dictatorship. Use all methods to instill fear in the people and let people police themselves. Because when you arrest, intimidate, torture, cause disappearances, then you create an atmosphere of fear where everybody checks themselves. And therefore, you lengthen your period of control of that country. The responsibility of those who fight against dictatorships is to ensure that they do everything humanly possible, that people don't lose hope and they don't get sucked into that state of fear. That's why we're here today. Two, another method dictatorships use: isolate all groups around which people can organize. Intimidate churches, intimidate civil society organizations, intimidate trade unions for those who have trade unions. Isolate all of them. Because when they get isolated, one from the other, then you weaken them. One of the reasons we are here today is to stand with NUP, because this is not a NUP affair. It's a citizens of Uganda people's affair. These people were here first and foremost as citizens before they belong to any party. And therefore, the propaganda machinery of the regime, which has been intense, to isolate the issue of human rights violations around those who've been arrested, around those who've been killed, around those who have disappeared, to make it seem as if it's a NUP affair. We would like to bust that myth today. It's not a NUP affair. It's a problem of a dictatorship that wants to hang on to power at any cost. So I'm glad that you hosted us today. And therefore we're here to tell all Ugandans out there, those who are in politics, those who are outside politics, whatever walk of life you are in, that this is not a NUP affair. It's an issue of human rights violation. And we've been in a vicious cycle of this since 1962. And there must be a point when we break out of this vicious cycle. The generals who are in uniform, the many who are now retiring, because there are many batches of officers who are retiring these days, quite many. Our security at an individual level does not depend on you belong to the institution, is not dependent on the escorts that you have, because there's a time when you retire. As is now very clear, there are many generals who are retiring. So the question, those who are in uniform, those who are in the regime, even those who are not in uniform but are politicians, the question you need to ask yourselves, all of us need to ask ourselves this question. The issue of the culture. Many officers in the army are educated. Many politicians are educated, those in the regime. I need you to look at countries where a culture of impunity has taken root. Mostly some Asian countries, some African countries, some Latin American countries, where what is abnormal becomes normalized. When a culture like that takes root, where there is lawlessness, there's no way you can say you are secure. Because today you have escorts, you are in uniform, tomorrow you are not going to have escorts. I don't have escorts here, I don't travel all over the country unless you go ask for them. So, those who are in the regime, if you allow this culture to take root, my question is, the day when you're out of power, how do you want to be treated is the question. Because once it becomes a culture, then everybody will get affected. And nobody remains in power until the end of time. Everybody was in power. You may even stay long. I think the longest party which was in power that I know of was in Mexico, but even those left power. So the question you need to ask yourselves, consciously. I ask quite a number of them when I meet with them. The politicians, and those who are in uniform, those who are outside uniform. How do you want to be treated when you are out there? When you are not in power? That's the question every Ugandan needs to ask themselves. Because we've been in this vicious cycle for 61 years. And there has to be a point when we break out of it. So when today we come here to pray to God, because the battles we're involved in are dual, there's the physical fight, there's a fight at the level of the spiritual realm. That one, there are many people engaged in it, and I know that the forces of righteousness will vanquish one day in this country. That one is clear in my mind, it's clear in my understanding. General Museveni has played his acts in a manner, and to a large extent, I could say he has succeeded. Because he has created an environment of fear. And therefore it has made it possible for him to have control. Those who are in government, and those outside government. So for us to come and pray for God's intervention, but in the physical sense to stand with those who are being messed up. You can see young ladies, really, some in their late 20s, 30s, becoming widowed. Those who have disappeared. To stand with them, to give hope to people all over the country. And hopefully for those who are in the regime to wake up, to know that there's going to be a time when they're going to be out of power. But who knows, they may start backtracking, and those who are reasonable can start building pressure from within. We hope that happens. That's one part I want to talk about those who are in the regime. The second part, Doctor has touched it. And in a sense, it really shows the crisis in which we are as a country. we signed a letter, 5 of us, requesting leaders of the different denominations in this country, inviting them to this occasion. 7 denominations. None of the senior faith leaders is here, nor has any of the religious denominations delegated. What does that mean? It's symbolic of the crisis we have in this country. But the only reason that that could be is fear, which is unfortunate in 2 ways. And maybe let me give advice to those who lead the faith institutions. When you're a leader of a faith organization, you are a shepherd. We're not asking them to be partisan at all, but we are asking them to be shepherds. When they're invited State House, they should go. If they're invited Koro, they should go, as they normally do. It's an opportunity to take that platform and speak to power. Commend them for what they are doing right. Put them to task where they have gone wrong. That's leadership. More so when you are a shepherd. Because when you are a shepherd, when you are a faith leader, at least those in the Christian denominations, because I know the Bible, I don't know what the Quran says in that regard. God in the Bible says, fear not, for I am with you. So when you let a human being terrify you, it means that you are fearing that human being more than you fear God. You have lost your responsibility as a faith leader. And in a sense, you lose the opportunity to take the moral high ground. A day like this one is an opportunity for the faith leaders to take the moral high ground. Go to occasions of government where they invite you. Go to events of the opposition where they invite you. Speak what you believe to be the truth. Where you think we have got failures, don't hesitate. Read us the right act. As much as you do it to them, do the same to us. Then you take the moral high ground. If you don't do that, you are simply putting on cassocks, but you don't fit the role that you are in. There's no way you can be a representative of God on this planet and you fear a human being. That means you are not walking by faith. You are walking by sight. We are going to put you in our prayers. We could have easily become desperate for your non-appearance or on all other occasions when you are supposed to speak and you don't. But we don't look to you as individuals. We want to look to you as representatives of the God in heaven, for those of us who believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And we know since history, since the beginning of man, when God finds that his instruments on earth have failed him, he always has his ways. He's not going to be impeded to act because his instruments are not acting in the manner in which he would want to act. He told Peter, "You love me. Feed my sheep." 3 times. Justice, standing for justice, is part of feeding the sheep. My hope is that those who occupy those positions will also wake up Because if you don't speak, God can make stones speak. On that, as I end, there is contention. We are contending on the physical front, but all those faith leaders, I believe, would know that we're also contending on the spiritual level. You know the forces that are controlling this country. You know the altars that they bow. If you bow at the same altars, because if you, get intimidated by those altars, basically you are bowing to those altars. God always has his 7,000, as he told Nabi Elijah. He told Nabi Elijah. When Nabi Elijah was so scared, he said they had killed all prophets. They were the only remaining, and they were hunting him down. They were about to kill him. God said, I have my 7,000 who have not bowed to Baal. God always has his 7,000. Those who represent God in this country, if you don't wake up, God has his 7,000. So we are not going to lose hope. We are looking to God. Finally, the third part. Our responsibility, those of us who are contending for power, is to break this vicious cycle, because we've been in it over and over. So everything that God gives us, between now and the time when any group takes power, we have to prepare, we have to keep organized, so we don't become like them. It's a tough situation that you find yourselves here in Loop. There's no doubt about that. It's tough, it's emotional. When someone puts a boot on people as a way of crushing the spirit of the people, it's tough. It can also be quite tempting. One thing I would like to urge all of us to resist is for them to turn us to become like them. We owe that to the people. We owe that to this country. Because my hope that any group which takes power will lead us to breaking out of this vicious cycle in which we've been for 61 years. I don't think General Museveni cares about the country after he has gone. Wherever he's going, I don't know where he's preparing to go. I don't think he cares. That's why the country is completely crushed. The people's spirit has been crushed to a point where you can buy someone with 1,000 shillings. People's spirit has been crushed to a level that they no longer believe in themselves. Systems are broken down. Systems of justice. Systems of service delivery. And we're increasing in population. Corruption is deep. People have reached a point where they think that there's nothing you can get in this country unless you have money, unless you can buy pay someone. That's a burden all of us who are in the position have to recognize and be conscious of, and know that we will have to carry that burden, and therefore we must do everything humanly possible to measure to that responsibility. Because change is a constant. This group is going to move out of power one way or another. And then the question, then, those of us who get in there, we have to be different from all groups that have been in power since 1961. Because if we don't become different, then we will have another group meeting at a party headquarters somewhere, in future somewhere, condemning. Same condemnation as what is happening here. And how sad that will be for this country. May God richly bless you. This is our country. 45 million people now. 25 years down the road, we're going to become about 100 million people. It must be everything humanly possible to fight and retake our country. Thank you.